today, but we want to wish her a very happy birthday because it's her birthday today. Yeah. And things kind of got a little funky last night between Megyn Kelly and Newt Gingrich on the Kelly file when they got into allegations that Donald Trump is a sexual predator. Take a look.
That's my girl.
It's very good. Megyn Kelly for the win. I admire her so much that she can stay so controlled and so poised in such heated situations and maintain her focus when she's speaking and stay on topic. But I do have to agree that Newt did bring up some points that the media is biased. They cover everything about Trump so much more. I know you disagree with me, but they do. It's a fact. I mean, I have the percentages.
We had Trump for a year and a half. A year and a half of all day, all night Donald Trump. And the fact of the matter is, Bill Clinton was taken to task. He was impeached. He was paraded around by a lot of folks, including Newt Gingrich, and people who has
his own little issues with women.
Issues. You know, I agree that I would love to hear Donald talk about policy, but it's really hard because he doesn't talk about policy.
Well, he doesn't know it. That's why.
But that's the issue for me. He doesn't do it.
I understand the issue, but the fact is the coverage that he's getting, which Donald Trump gets a lot of media coverage, but it's negative media coverage. They don't ever talk about him without using words like vulgar and racist and bigot and misogynistic. But when you hear them talk about Hillary, it is still a respectful tone, even though they're talking about email scandal.
But she doesn't do what he does. She doesn't talk that way.
I think it's based on what
I have to say one thing, that Megyn got him. He was bleeding from wherever. That guy was like, she nailed him. Well, I don't want to say to the cross because that's not nice. But she nailed him. You know what I mean? It was like, when I watched that, I was like, yes! Finally, somebody stood up to this arrogant. Also, let's not forget that when Newt Gingrich gave his wife divorce papers, she was in the hospital recovering from cancer. He is the nastiest man. He's been on this show.
I think one thing in response to what Candace is saying is that I think there's so much Trump out there because he prides himself on bucking the system and being a different candidate, but that makes for big headlines because a lot of times the things he says are so bombastic that they're talking points. So he kind of becomes his own worst enemy in this.
Stops people from talking policy because you're so busy saying, well, that by the time you're done, you're like this, and he's moved on, hasn't had a damn thing. He hasn't said anything.
Remember when Les Moonves, who was the CEO, I believe,
CBS.
Whatever, of CBS, he said Donald Trump is bad for America, but he's good for television.
Been great for television.
And television does respond to, you know, the craziest thing that you say. And he gives you red meat over and over again.
He played The Apprentice. He's played, this is how you play The Apprentice. You put out as much information about the other person. You know what I'm doing. You know,
Megyn Kelly.
You know, and you see what sticks and you move on. And the shocker is so much has not stuck that we're all shocked that something actually, people are spending more than a week or two saying, well, wait a minute, and women just keep coming out. They just keep coming out, and that's what happens.
I saw Sheryl Crow. I'm sorry, it's a little off topic. I saw Sheryl Crow this morning on a program, and she wants to pass a bill, or she's trying to get a bill to shorten the election cycle. Because she said, yes,
let us pray.
Yes, I'm getting ready to pray.
Lord, make this cycle shorter.
Let me say, too, though, because I've worked with Megyn Kelly for a long time, and I watch Megyn Kelly every night. Newt Gingrich needs to watch the Kelly file because she is tough on everyone. She's not somebody who picks favorites. She's actually one of the people in this business who does her job. And it's not her fault that Donald Trump has said and done some horrible things. It's Donald Trump's fault. It's her job to tell that story.
They
And
know
Donald
that.
Trump has been in the media because Donald Trump's life, he said things. We have him on tape. No one's fabricating anything. This is his story.
But let's
it's
face
her
it,
job to
Jen.
say. And she said if. This whole notion of her saying sexual predator.
But people
she
only
said
hear,
if.
they only hear what they want to hear. And what she nailed him on is, look, here are the facts.
Right.
I didn't make this up. And, sir, if you actually knew what you were talking about and you had actually watched my show, you'd know we'd already done that. So, bye.
But they're mad
Felicia.
at her. They're angry with Megyn because she's the first one who called him out on that. Remember? You called this one a
But if
fat pig.
Donald-
You said this. You said this.
But if-
They can't stand her for that.
Right, but if Donald Trump were out there talking policy well and articulating policy well, that would be the story. That's not the story
Well, that's the
because that's
point.
not what he's doing.
Yes. Yeah. But apparently Republicans are running away with the news that insurance premiums under Obamacare will increase an average of 22% in 2017. And they're very happy because, you know, folks hate Obamacare.
Some folks.
But, well, a lot of folks, you know, if you watch the news, you know, they're saying, you know, half the country hates Obamacare. And it's like, okay. But I kind of find it amazing because, you know, before Obamacare or, you know, Clinton Care or Kennedy Care, many insurers routinely spent 60% or less of their revenues on patient care. Obamacare made them spend 80%.
That's what's got them ticked off.
Well, that's what's, and part of that is the issue. And even before the American Care Act, many healthcare plans were raising ratings 20% a year. So, you know, they said, we don't want Obamacare. We're going to make sure that we do as many things as we can to get people to walk away from it. But I just feel like, let's look at it, see what doesn't work, get rid of what doesn't work, and keep the stuff that does work.
Yeah,
Well, it's hard to do that.
No,
It's hard to do it because Obamacare rested on the concept that young, healthy people were going to have this mandate where they had to have insurance. And what happened was young, healthy people turned around and said, well, we don't want to have insurance. This is an expense we don't want. So they left the system, and as a result, they're not paying the penalty tax. The government's not collecting it. Money's not going in. The system is being flooded with, let's face it, people who are sicker, people who are older, people who are going for more medical tests and buying more prescription drugs. And the insurance companies are saying, we are a business and we're running out of money.
Okay, to that
So
point,
they're leaving the marketplace.
Okay, but to that point, do you really believe that healthcare should be a business? Should it be a profit-making business?
But it is right now, and these insurance companies they're leaving the marketplace because they're going bankrupt.
But pharmaceuticals are through the roof. Healthcare is through the roof.
It's
Why aren't people outraged at that instead of Obamacare, which is trying to fix the problem and help
because
people?
Because people's premiums went up.
Get that.
But you know what? Let me explain. Let me say something to you. It's fine. Young people say we don't want insurance. We don't. But you will. And when you want it, see, I'm going to have to be the one that eats it so you can get it. My other point is very simple. I pay a lot of money for my insurance, and less is covered.
Yeah.
And it's really pissing me off.
Yeah.
You know? And so, with the stuff we have, why are you taking stuff away when we're paying every month? I mean, you pay insurance. We all pay insurance.
Because the costs are going through the roof. That's
But whose
why.
costs?
And they want to make more and more profit.
But my costs, when I don't get sick for 10 years, I still got to pay the same thing.
Well,
they don't send me any money back saying, hey, what? You've been well for all this time here, babe. Yeah. You know, you know, I get that they need to make money. But you know what? We're all in this together, and they have to help. I'm sorry. They have to help because I'm tired of having to be the person who is watching other people's kids die because they don't have insurance or they don't have enough money to make a decision to either feed the family or buy freaking insurance.
Right,
and I'm tired of it.
But the way you force that, in my opinion, the way you force those, because it is a business and there is a lot of self-interest on the part of these insurance companies, the way you force that is competition. You have a bunch of companies that are competing.
They've had competition.
They don't.
They do.
They
Blue
don't.
Cross, Red Cross, Elementary. There's all across. Sorry about the cross reference. There's all these crosses, all these insurances, and this insurance, and then this one won't take that. They will only. It's all BS.
But there's less
They need to
now.
get themselves together. It's BS. That's my opinion. Go ahead,
There's less now. There's less now. When you have insurance companies leaving the marketplace, all you're doing is reducing options for people and reducing competition, and all it's going to do is raise people's costs. That's why their premiums are going up.
Well, maybe we need single-payer insurance in this country. Maybe we need single-payer
We need a better
civilized
European. Somebody should come up with it because nobody has come up with a better thing than what we have.
Yeah, we should.
Bernie's thing is the same thing as in Massachusetts. Oh, listen.
Yeah, it is. It's Bernie
It's the same exact. It's the same. What? Oh, we'll be right back.
Coming up, Tragic TV. The ladies reveal the TV character deaths that left them devastated.
Welcome back. That was odd. Welcome back. You know, a lot of people keep their loved ones' ashes in an urn or scatter them over a place that meant something to them in their lives. But apparently the Vatican says that's a no-no. Ashes need to be in a sacred place. Do they have to be in a sacred place? And who's to decide what is sacred to someone and what is not?
I just want my ashes scattered over George Clooney. That's my dream. Just right over here. You think that's go for it?
That's a lot of gray dust, baby. Do you know how much of it's a lot of, he'd be like this under you.
We cremated a dog one time and it was a lot.
It's a huge amount,
That is a lot. That's
my
true.
mother is all over the house. She's everywhere in my house. Oh no, it's hysterical because it was like, wait, all of this is her? And they were like, yeah. So I was like, how many urns can I get her in? You know, so I scattered her here, I scattered her there. I mean, I scattered her in the places that she really loved, and I think that's a sacred thing. I think.
Well, I'm not Catholic, so I can't speak to what they would deem appropriate or sacred, but I always envisioned, because I want to be cremated, I always thought the idea of spreading your loved one wherever places meant, like sentimental or peaceful moments of kind of meditative thought of what they meant, I thought that was pretty spiritual, but maybe it's not in line
with... That's what they don't like about it.
I'm not Catholic either, but I haven't found a place in biblical context that talks about being buried or cremated or that you have to be placed in a church. So I think this is maybe the Catholics trying to keep the people connected to the church, or I mean, I don't know. I think this is more ritualistic than it is from a biblical principle.
Well, people they're not paying attention to the dead body the way we used to. People used to really revere, the laying them out. Like last night I went to a wake and the body was laid out with makeup and the embalming and the whole thing. And it was like a lot of people everyone used to kneel down there in my day. I went to many wakes. I should have frequent flyer mileage for it. But nowadays people say, well, I'm not going to go up there anymore because there's a sense that it's gone. And I think years ago it wasn't gone. The person's here still. There's something about, and people are less religious than they used to be. So they don't really, a lot of people believe that we're just become extinct. But the Catholic Church fights that.
My mom actually, she bought an urn already. She found something she loved that was beautiful.
For herself, I hope.
For herself, and she wants me. She gets a little morbid sometimes. It's good Christmas dinner, and she's what are you gonna do? I'm gonna be like, I know this thing is gonna be on my piano, and there's gonna be voices coming out of it. Take that dress off. It looks terrible. I mean, I know it's coming, but she felt like she was claustrophobic her whole life, and she felt that the whole idea of a coffin and that whole thing just went against who she was and her own comfort. And organized religion drives me a little crazy sometimes because I don't understand why the Vatican gets to decide what's sacred. Maybe taking someone's ashes and putting them in jewelry to somebody, maybe that's sacred. Maybe that's something they wear close to their heart, or maybe that's something they put in their bedroom, or people let people
I think
deal with grief.
You can't dictate what is sacred. You just can't dictate what is sacred to people. My mom said, look, I don't want to spend the money. I don't spend the money. I'm not going to be here. Right. So go do something else. And she said, there's enough graves on the earth. She said, me, I like to travel. Yeah. Hopefully I'll make it to space. Yeah. That was her attitude. Listen, she said, put me in the microwave. And that's what I went and asked the guy. I said, do you have a microwave?
What do you mean? The body?
That's what she wanted. Yeah, that was her way of saying cremate.
Oh, cremate.
But I'm, slow sometimes. Yeah. And so I asked the guy, do you have a microwave? I don't know. I think she wanted to be warmed up. Who can say?
But they also have problems with the real estate in cemeteries and with our natural disasters that keep hitting. They're having graves and mausoleums ruined and things coming up. So there's a lot of practical reasons why maybe that's not
See,
the
there's
best.
a lot of money in death. Let's face it. There's the coffin, there's the plot, there's the stone, there's the ritual, there's the body, there's the, I mean, there's the dress, there's the outfit, the flowers, a lot of money involved
I
there.
just feel like, I mean, the body goes away. It's the soul that's going to live forever.
Yeah.
So I never wanted anyone to feel obligated to have to go to a place for me to feel like they had to either mourn or visit me. I'm like, I'm here in spirit.
Well, you're
So
sitting
you
next
can
to
visit
Oda
me
Mae Brown,
anytime.
so maybe she can channel her.
My daughter said, listen, I don't like this idea of cremation. She said, I want to come and talk to you. I was like, so basically you want me to upload myself? And then she thought about it and she said, no, I don't. I said, no, you don't. You want me to be wherever I am. I'm with you wherever you are.
On videotape also in your case.
Yes, in my case, you can always see it. But if you have a question, you know, just think about it because you'll hear me, you know. And she's like, okay, I don't like talking about that. I said, you brought it up. You know, I'm not looking to talk about it either. Click, click, I see it. I'm running, baby. I'm running. I feel it breathing on my neck because you never know. But you know what? Something we do know? Oh, maybe we don't. Sorry. We'll be right back.
Later, co-host Kiss and Tell. Was their first kiss magical or miserable?
You know, in keeping with the death talk, the death of two characters on The Walking Dead led to an outpouring of grief online and has once again brought up the question, why do people take the death of a TV character that is not real so personally?
Yeah.
Why?
Because some of us live in a movie and a television show. I fully expect to come here and one day hear you say, Jedediah, you in danger, girl. I mean, I am living in, I am not of this world.
You do know that's never going to happen.
I mean, you could.
She didn't
Listen,
even know the meme existed online. Well, he's not going to do it.
Yeah.
But if some of us do, it's crazy. My mother always says, I'll say to her, well, I want a guy who's going to do this and this. And she's like, that's a television show. And often it's a television show from the 1960s. So some of us, I think, bond with these people and we forget it's an actor playing a role. And
Well, you know what? Some of us get involved, like I was telling you this morning, when that show, The Affair, went on hiatus.
God,
I was just about to reach where
I was going with that.
I was right there, and then they went on hiatus. That annoyed me. Yeah, it was like about a 6-month foreplay.
You get so emotionally attached because they are literally in your home every single week. You're watching them. You feel like you know them and you connect with them. I couldn't handle it when Lost ended. And then I didn't even know if it was real or not. I was like, are you in purgatory? Was this a dream? It left me I felt like I lost my best friends and I didn't know where they were.
And you're an actress.
Well, I think you follow the story arcs and you get invested in the different lines. Like, I loved Breaking Bad, so I have proceeded to watch it over 3 times.
The whole series?
Yes.
Wow, you have a lot of time.
Well, that was pre-baby, but I couldn't let go of Walter White. And I also have never gotten over the breakup of Brenda and Dylan on 90210.
I'm still not over that. I'm still not over that. Look at that.
One time I heard my mother and my aunt talking on the phone, and my mother was saying, oh my God, Rachel's getting a divorce. And I'm like, Rachel, we're Italian. There's nobody named Rachel in this family. She was talking about another world. And my aunt was so upset. My aunt was like, I know, I can't believe it. And, what?
That's what I learned, though, with like Game of Thrones, is don't attach yourself to any character because they're going to die next episode.
Yeah.
That's a true lesson.
If their contracts are up, they're dead.
It's too freaky. I just too freaky for me. No, they're not. It's not real. Because I get that from people. They say, you've seen it. People come up and say stuff to me. I don't know what they're talking about. It's a line from some movie I did. I don't know. Because I don't live in the movie.
Yeah.
I live in the real world.
And
So
you're done with
you
it.
say stuff, you know, and the movies, you know, some of them are like 15 years old. I don't watch them. I
Do you
don't
like my hair?
It's all day long.
Sunrise. This is Ghost.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was, you know. This, you know, people people say stuff from The Color Purple to me. I have no clue what they're talking about. You know, somebody will go like that and I'll go. You know, this election has been full of nasty campaign ads. So as we go to break, we wanted to show you just a really fun one, starting out with the wife of a local Texas commissioner. Watch. The fiance of Catfish creator Neve Schulman posted an Instagram of herself breastfeeding, along with a post warning new moms that breastfeeding is not easy, it's hard. She admitted no one told her just how hard and painful and difficult it can be, and she urged people who want to breastfeed to educate themselves about it beforehand. And I think this is a good thing for moms to hear. I know you've talked about this.
Yeah, I struggled a lot. I think even knowing, I knew a lot about breastfeeding, and it still caught me off guard what was involved. I think when your world's turned upside down in a good way, it's a blessing, it was a gift, but you don't recognize anything, and you're hormonal, and for me, I was kind of in a really dark place, and I didn't then know that in addition to the physical discomfort of breastfeeding in the beginning, there was also this I needed to find Sarah, who wasn't mom, but just the Sarah, something familiar to latch onto to help me get to my new normal. And I was bound to a couch with a baby, and I didn't know, I wasn't enjoying it. And I remember saying that everyone's telling me this is a gift and this is beautiful, and I'm really hurting inside, and I don't know what to do.
Well, I felt like I was doing it for the baby, not really for me, because I read somewhere that, you know, the child gets your antibodies when you breastfeed. And I thought, well, good, she's not going to get sick from me. I've gotten many colds from her over the years, but she never got them from me. And that's one of the benefits of breastfeeding. Plus, there's an intimacy and a closeness.
But if you can't
do it, then you have a problem. It was hard for me too, but I plowed through, and it was difficult.
That there could be a struggle. I remember with Natasha, when I breastfed her, I could only get milk out of one side and not the other, and I'm like, that's not supposed to happen. But I met with a lactation consultant, and they helped guide me through things, but sometimes I didn't even know a lactation consultant existed. And then a friend told me, but it took a while. It took several weeks to get through it.
See, my mom was a baby nurse, and I said, I can't get this, I can't do this. And she said, well, then that's okay. We have other ways. You can feed the baby other ways. And that's important for moms to know. Not everybody can breastfeed. And if someone is telling you that you're not doing it right, and it's wrong for you, you're allowed to say, then I'm going to find a different way. I need to help finding a different way. You do the best you can, and no one should be pushing new mothers, because, you know, they're trying to do the best they can. You can't push them and make it harder than it already is. It's just wrong. And La Leche, I know how y'all are. But this is the reality. Not everyone can do it, and it's not fair to make them feel bad if they can't.
No, but I would say on the other side a little bit that sometimes it's difficult, but you can push through it sometimes.
Some people can push. Not everybody,
well,
Joy.
If it's really killing you.
No, but not everybody can, and everybody should know that it's their right.
You feel like less of a mother.
Yes.
That's the thing is, I heard from a lot of people after we talked about it once saying you're no less of a mother, and I think I'd want to say you're not alone, and a fed baby is the best type of baby. The other thing is the conversations about public breastfeeding, now I look at them totally differently. People talk about where you can breastfeed. I say you applaud and congratulate the woman that pulls that off, because I struggled doing it in public when you don't have a pillow and you can't cover yourself, and I cried and cried. So it locked me to my apartment on another level. I could never get out. So I think that a lot of people don't know that.
Sometimes your children decide for you too. With Max, I went, I'm going the whole year and even longer. I loved it, and at 6 months he was like, nope, I don't want it from you anymore.
Some people do it so many years, the kid is ready to take the SATs. I mean, they're like 10 years old, and my Uncle Ralph, you know, the Italians all did it. And my Uncle Ralph, when he was like 5 years old, they used to tell the story, he'd be following my grandmother around going, latte, like double latte, you know, like he's at Starbucks or something, because he spoke Italian. Latte, mama, double latte.
When they can ask for it verbally, it might have gone too long.
Placing an order.
It's rough when they, Anyway, you know, Millie Bobby Brown, the 12-year-old star of Stranger Things, said her very first kiss is like a kiss. But the question I guess we're supposed to be asking is, do you remember your first kiss? Do you want to remember your first kiss?
Yeah, my first kiss actually wasn't until high school. And it was okay, but I didn't feel, I kept being told when you kiss somebody and you really love them, it's amazing, and there's all of these things. I had all these expectations, and it was just okay. And it was because that relationship wound up being just okay. And I remember when I went to college, and the second guy that I wound up kissing, I dated for 3 years, and I was in love almost right away. And I remember kissing him and saying, oh, this is what it's supposed to feel like. And it was kind of a discovery for me that I didn't have until that second
song?
guy.
If you want to know if he loves you so, it's in his kiss.
It's true, though. It really is.
Yeah, my kiss was messy. I didn't know what I was doing. I should have YouTubed. I don't think that was around then. But it was after a homecoming dance, and I was like really, like I had a stomach ache because I was dreading he was going to try to kiss me, and he did, and he regretted that. It didn't work out. But it was just, I didn't know what I was doing. No one tells, you know, like, and then I'd been telling my friends, oh yeah, I've been kissed, totally, like this one time. So like I couldn't ask for help then because I told him I'd already done it, and I didn't know what it was a mess. Yeah, it was not good.
How about you?
Me? Well, I guess technically my first kiss was on television. And it was the same as Millie Bobby Brown, so I know it's awkward and uncomfortable, and you have millions of people.
That hair. That hair. I thought I had hair. That is hair. 80s hair.
That was your first kiss was on television?
Yeah, it was. Aww. It looked like my parents were standing right off camera watching. It's awkward.
Were you freaked out as a young actress?
I was nervous. I didn't know if I should keep my eyes open or closed, but my real first kiss was several years later, and it was great.
All right. Well, on that note, we'll be right back. At the U.S. Open after 5 years of retirement. He is back in full force. He's not playing with y'all. He's got a new box set collection, upcoming tour, and a perfectly titled memoir, Not Dead Yet. Please welcome the extraordinary Phil Collins. So you just said you had an Asher story? You had an Asher story?
Yeah, well, when you were talking about that earlier, it's kind of funny. My dad died, you know. I mean, that's not the funny part, but he died, and he died on the south coast where my brother lived, and he was cremated. So after the cremation, my brother thought that my mother was going to go and pick the ashes up. And my mother thought my brother was going to pick the ashes up.
Oh, no.
So no one picked the ashes up. And we don't know where he is now. No, you can laugh at that because that's black English humour, you know. But it did happen because I wanted to put a little stone there where he was, you know. And my brother went and did some research and said, "Oh my God, no one ever picked him up." So I know where he is now. He's probably, you know, fertilizer in someone's garden now.
This is never a bad thing. He's growing other stuff.
Yeah, so we've got a bench for him on the river.
I like that.
It's being installed now, you know, with a little plaque. Yeah. So it's a good end, you know.
Yeah, you're going to be touring again. You're starting a tour in Europe, and
I'm doing some shows. I don't like the word tour anymore.
okay.
Yeah.
You're just hanging.
I'm just doing a selection of shows. We're doing a week in London, a week in Paris, and a week in Cologne, Germany. And I mean, tickets went on sale last week, and
sold them all
you
out.
sold out already?
they went out in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you coming here?
Well, I mean, inevitably I will. You know, I'm trying to do things differently. You know, when I was in the old days, you know, you go on tour and you like going away to war. You never knew if you were going to come back or not. And these tours were huge. I mean, 13 months, 6 months, 10 months.
Wow.
So I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just going to do some shows and then have a month off, you know, with the kids, and then go out and do some more shows.
Speaking of kids, your 15-year-old son Nicholas is back. To have him following in your footsteps and be there with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he'll be 16 when we do the tour, but we did 3 shows this year. One in Miami in March and 2 in Switzerland in June. He played the drums, and he did the US Open. And it was fantastic because, you know, he was playing to 500-600 people. Next day, he's playing to 20,000 people. Wow. And it's just playing, and it's cool. I don't have to look around because I know it's...
Because you know.
Yeah. But I have 3 sons, you know, and Simon, my oldest, is 40, and he's got his own career. He's fully focused on that. Then there's Nick, and then there's Matthew, who's 11. And I gave Matthew a drum kit, and he, you know, he thrashed along, but he wasn't really into it. And so eventually he just said, I don't really want to do it, Dad. But I do feel I'm not a Collins because I don't do it. Aww. You know, and I said, no, don't be silly. Look at you, look at me, look at you. And he said, no, Nick told me last night I was adopted.
The family's funny, too. The family's funny.
People do that. Kids do that. Kids do that to each other.
Did that to me, I know.
Yeah, I want to ask you about your book it was titled Not Dead Yet, which is an incredibly brave title, and it actually refers to a late life bout with alcoholism you had. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, I just drank a lot.
There you have it. Okay.
Were you hesitant to put that out there?
No. I mean, I've drunk socially, as I'm sure most of us have. And I always had responsibility, you know. I mean, I had a show to do every night, pretty much. If you look at the book, you'll see just how hard I worked and how incredible that was to look back on it and see, did I really do that? But I always had a show to do the next day, so I couldn't stay up late, so I had to get up, and then I didn't ever drink the day of the show. And I decided to retire because I had 2 young children. I mean, Matthew's now 11, Nick's now 15, but when they were young, I wanted to retire. I wanted to stop and be a dad, you know. And so I did, and by the time this oil tanker of my career stopped, you know, it takes a long time to convince people you want to stop. By the time I stopped, unfortunately, my marriage to Oriane was breaking up. And so I kind of retired, and there was no one to go home to. So you can all go, and then they decided, she got remarried, and they decided to move to Miami. So now my whole life was shifted about, you know, logistics. I had to get to Miami every other week, you know. Instead of being 10 minutes, I was 10 hours. So I frankly, I felt I owed myself a break, and I started to...
But you're back with Oriane now. You're back with your ex-wife. That's so nice.
Yes, it is a nice story, actually.
That's lovely.
A lot of people, I think a lot of people have that chance.
Yeah.
But they just don't do it because...
Well, you were smart. You know what you needed to do. The book is fantastic. And so, look, you have to come back because there's never enough time to talk to you. Thank you, Phil. His memoir, Not Dead Yet, is in stores now. You can pick up his new CD, Don't Clap Yet collection. The singles and members of our studio audience are going home with a copy. We'll be right back. Thank you for coming. We want to tell you to have a great day, and Jedediah, you in danger, girl. Take a little time to enjoy the view.